Hi, this is Robert Colquhoun, Director of International Campaigns.
Por la vida en Colombia está lleno de frutos.
People start saying that, if your thoughts fall foul of the popular opinion, that they're somehow criminal.
Mi hija ha decidido no abortar.
Our freedom in a democracy, in our open society, begins with the freedom of speech.
Ante todo, los pilares de 40 días, ¿no? La oración, el ayuno, la yoga.
So sometimes it's just a little thing that we have to do. So
también dignidad, que son creados también por
But
Dios.
beyond what we say, anything we do at 40 Days for Life, anything we say to defend the unborn, we do with love.
Los bebés no tienen que ser abortados de una madre.
40 Days for Life International Podcast.
El podcast de 40 días por la vida internacional.
Hi, this is Robert Colquhoun, Director of International Campaigns for 40 Days for Life, and I'm here with Paula Pimentel, who's been the leader of 40 Days for Life for, I think, over 10 years in total. I believe it's 12 years. She has done the most amazing and incredible job with leading a campaign in Lisbon, which is the capital of Portugal, which introduced abortion with a referendum around about 2008 time. And actually 20% of the abortions happen in this one street in Lisbon. And Paula's witness has been exemplary. She also runs out home, and we've had so many stories, so many pictures from Portugal. I've been just going around the leaders of 40 Days for Life on the international sphere. We've heard some incredible stories from the UK, from Spain, from Croatia, from Taiwan. And Portugal is just one of those places where we've had huge traction. There's a strong Catholic faith in the country, a remnant there. Fatima is just up the road, an incredible vision that happened there in the 1917. And wherever you are, wherever you live, Paula's testimony is an inspiration to what we can do locally to end abortion where we live. If we pray and discern God's will of what he asks us to do, then he can do miracles in and through us. And sometimes it's counterintuitive. It's the most smallest things, the small act done with great love. This is what 40 Days for Life is all about. And Paula has really embodied our vision of prayer, of fasting, of public witness on the streets so well in Portugal. We visit her many times. Paula, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
And we've both got children who are in the house, and hopefully they won't disturb the recording.
They let us.
It's great. Your children are a lot older than my children. And tell us a little bit about yourself. So you're a lawyer, and you're also a mother of 6 as well, isn't that right?
Seven.
Of 7, wow, yeah. So it's fantastic. And so how do you manage it all? How do you do it?
I'm married with Javier for 28 years, and we have 7 between 12 and 27. And already a grandchild, because the 2 elders are already married. And I manage like you with cows. Now they are older, it's better. What would you like to know about what do you like to know?
Well, you've just had World Youth Day in Portugal, which was a pretty incredible event as well. So tell us a little bit about World Youth Day first, and then we'll talk about how 40 Days started in Portugal and just your history and background. So you've just had this huge Catholic event in Lisbon. What, 1.5 million people did you attend, and what was it like?
In Lisbon, well, it was really great, amazing, seeing all these young people kneeling where you refer when the night, yes, the vigil. It was really, you have to live it, you have to be there, and it's really incredible. All my kids went, and they already very touched with that. Was beautiful experience.
And so there were 1.5 million people there, because we had a lot of leaders attended as well.
Yes, yeah, we met for leaders. Nayeli was at my house sleeping these days, and she was with two more leaders from Costa Rica and another one, a girl from Spain, and I didn't see more leaders, but I think that yes, there was another boy at my house from Croatia. Okay, I forgot his name. And he was Anthony and Nayeli. They both were at home. Both of 40 Days for Life stayed here at home in where do you stay? Well, you want to tell me.
Oh yes. So tell us how it all started, because when was your first ever campaign in Lisbon, and which year was that? Was that 2011 or 2012?
2012.
Yeah.
It all started because I always have been a pro-life. Okay, even though when I was apart from the church, I kept being a pro-life also. In the law school, my last work for graduation was about abortion. Then I met my husband when I was 21, and he's from Spain, Seville, and he was the leader of pro-life youth in Seville and vice leader in Spain. And so it was also a thing in common, and I've been always pro-life. But then, before knowing 40 Days for Life, a friend that know that I was pro-life introduced me to Leonor, with a mother of 13 children.
Wow.
That after the referendum of 2007, she decided she had to go to the street in front of the facility. We have this facility where, as you said, 25% of the abortions in Portugal, which are 14,600 more or less a year, for 25% are done in this facility, and this woman decided that she had to go in front of the clinic and pray, and then a donor, a sponsor, gave her a house in front of the clinic, not the one another one. Then she changed for that, and she took the women there for coffee or for tea, and talked to them, and a lot of babies were saved. And she founded, together with other people, then after Paulo, that you already met, they found an association called Raise Hands to Our Lady of Fatima, okay, so asking Our Lady to protect these babies and their mothers. And I've been with them for like 1 year. I went every Friday there with a friend to talk to the women. But then I gave up. I also didn't feel totally comfortable with the style of praying and with the pictures of aborted babies and everything. And then once, for casually, I went to Seville to as always to see my husband's family, and I came into the bookshop, and I saw and planned the book, and I said, since nobody has talked to me about the book, and I bought it. I wrote it in 1 day. I really loved it, and I thought it touched me really deeply, and I thought, really, yes, I would like to bring this for Portugal, because I loved how she told the story, because she really wanted to help people. She didn't want to, when she came, she wanted to a volunteer event to be volunteer to help women. And when she decided to go to Planned Parenthood, she did it for helping women. And that was always my issue. It was that it was not only the good ones and the bad ones, but also there's good people with good intentions in the bad side. Well, bad, not with bad, really bad. And I said I would like bring this for Portugal because I understood a lot of mercy with women in that book, and the way that 40 Days for Life behaved with Abby and everything. And so I talked to a friend, a father of 6 children, that he already knows a lot of things about the States. And he encouraged me and said, "Now, yes, Paula, do it. Come on, go forward." And so we started the first campaign in autumn 2012, and there were 1,200 people praying. Yes, it was the best campaign ever. I was really with a lot of very strong. My children little, but I was I don't know every how you say the hours
every hour
turns
each hour every hour each
hour
slot
was fulfilled. But if there was someone missing, so I went running, and no hour could be without praying. And the second campaign too was more or less like this. Well, it started very, very well. Now it's not our reality. It's not like that now, but well, it started this way. That's how 40 Days for Life. And I was a lot of years alone in the organization. A person came, and then the after campaign she left, and then again and then again.
Yeah.
But now finally, from 4 years, we have a solid team. Yeah. And of course we need more people and younger people, but we have a team to decide, make decisions and strategies and everything.
That's great. And so that zeal you had on that first campaign, like 1,000 people, and the witness was so powerful. Every hour was filled. That must have been, you must have had a lot of media coverage. Did you have any saves on that first campaign? Wow.
Media coverage, we have, yes, from radio, not for TV.
Yeah.
We didn't look for it. We didn't, I don't think, I don't know how it would be in Portugal to have a TV report, but in newspaper and in radio, yes. I can send you then when I find.
It's great. And did you have any saves that first campaign?
Yes, we did, but I really don't have numbers for you because I would have to read the diaries, and we have all the diaries in our site with the stories of every day. I think the really powerful thing of the diaries is that people get enthusiasm, and then they want to make part of this too. And so it's very important to make the diaries, but we need to have the information at the end of the day, and sometimes it's not very easy to have the information of the whole day. But if what you asking, if I had the diary, if I had savings, yes, we have savings, but as you know, as I told you a couple times, we don't like a lot to count the babies because we have we count and we think it's going to be safe, and then 3 years after we find that they had an abortion.
Yeah.
So this time, when I tell you that a baby is saved, it already passed a lot of time, and I know she's 11 weeks and she's not going to have an abortion. But on the opposite, this campaign, I told you, we had a very big surprise because a baby, they sent us a picture of a baby and asked our help, and this baby was saved. But we thought the woman was going to have an abortion last year, and she told us she was going to have an abortion. They were very rude with us, but they had our number, and she told us she was going to have an abortion, but we found out the first day of this campaign that she didn't have an abortion and the baby was alive. And I sent you the picture. Yeah, it's a very nice baby, and we didn't count these baby saves in our campaigns. The opposite also happens. and already we have women that have spontaneous abortion after having decided to have their babies.
Yeah.
And they are we have this campaign. She was having her baby, and we took her to our doctor, so we know she is not lying, and she had a spontaneous abortion. But she was even sad because she was already she got used to the idea of being pregnant and having another baby. But at the same time she was so relieved because the same effect, is not going to have the baby, but not for her option, but for God's will. And you asked me about the saver, baby saver. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely know that we have that babies were saved, but I don't know how many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about the house that you have as well, and also the Eucharistic. So you've got a chapel with Eucharistic adoration going on pretty much right next door to the abortion centre. And then you've got a house for mums as well. So, some other European countries, they would never have anything anywhere near to that. So what you have is quite unique. So elaborate us on, and also there's an orphanage as well, and there's another house for children too. So tell us a little bit more about the extended pro-life movement in Lisbon.
So pro-life movement here in Portugal is not very extended. It's not a strong movement, but we have little associations that help women, pregnant women and women with problems. The very unique in Portugal, as you told me, because you've been everywhere, is that we have a chapel in the house. That first was the house that where we talked to mother and had tea with them, and then the bishop allowed Paulo and Leonor to have the Holy Sacrament in the house. So we have a chapel right in front of the facility. Wow. With our Lord there every day of the year. And we were lucky because we have this association I told you about, Raised Hands, Mãos Erguidas. They work there the whole year, the 5 days a year. Okay, wow. So we are there 40 days twice a year, but they're the whole year. So we work together with them, and we support each other. They support us. They let us being in the chapel and taking everyone there. And do the sending mass of 40 Days for Life is there in the chapel.
Yeah.
And people here in Portugal, I don't know if it is like that in other countries, but are not like this of praying in the streets. They are not comfortable with that.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Not in Fatima, yes, of course, they go on their knees and everything, but not in the streets like normal. So for us, we insist with people that this is a street campaign, and it is good they pray in the streets, but on the street. But some people are more shy and they don't feel comfortable, so they go to the chapel and they pray with the Holy Sacrament, and others stayed outside. It's like this. About the House of the Mothers, it's different. It's from my husband and I, since we got married, we founded I don't know, it's not an NGO juridically, but it's a solidarity association, and we professionally work in that. And when in the COVID, we had 3 spaces and 3 houses, and 2 are the government lent us, but another one is bought by our association with funds of a program. And that house had different uses, but when COVID started, a lot of people stayed without house, without jobs, and we thought, why don't we do that house for welcome people and people who are in a difficult situation? It wasn't really for a pregnant woman, it was for everyone who needed, families that needed. But then a lot of families of 40 Days for Life started to come. People were pregnant and they didn't have where to go. And they stayed with us for instance, a girl told us, my mother told me that if I am pregnant, if I don't get an abortion, I can't stay at home. So I have to have an abortion. And then we said, stay with us, stay in our house, in this house, not our house, but in the house of our association. And she stayed there for the whole pregnancy, and then she came and her grandmother welcomed her and very happy with the baby. And like that, we have a lot of other stories of several babies saved in 40 Days for Life that stayed there. Now we'll have, last week we went to the circus with several babies of 40 Days for Life. I showed you the pictures.
You showed me the pictures, yeah, it was great.
The second year we do that. It's very nice. Really, it's like being in heaven a little bit to see all these babies, you know. And
Great.
They are like with you a lot of hours. We are like 1 hour talking before going to the circus and meeting everyone, seeing how big they are, and then we just find out we are going to have them baptized, you know, because we have how you say, Mother Teresa, the Sisters of Charity. You say it in English?
Missionaries of Charity, yeah. Mother Teresa nuns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa's. We are working together with them. So because they have a house much bigger than our house. So when the families are big, we send the families there, 40 Days for Life families too.
Wow.
And now it's amazing because they really take care of these families. They want to give them an education, a Catholic education, and now we arrange with them to baptize the children. So in January we will have several children from 40 Days for Life baptized, and I'll show you the pictures then.
Yeah.
We are now inviting godfathers and godmothers for them, so they can get this spiritual company also with their lives. And what more did you ask me? I don't remember.
So basically, the referendum happened in 2008. So there wasn't 2007. So there wasn't legalized abortion prior to 2007, and then that opened up. So what's the law at the moment? You can have an abortion up to 10 weeks or 12 weeks.
The abortion now is free and for option, a women's choice without any motive until 10 weeks.
10 weeks, yeah.
Then they have the abortion until 10 weeks and 6 days. They can get it free, and even they came from Azores. Azores, it's an island that they don't make abortions there, and they send them with the plane. They pay the government pays the plane, the hotel, everything.
Yeah.
And they came 2 days to have the abortion. The Spanish doctors come to Portugal, to Lisbon 3 days a week. And in these 3 days, they have like 40 abortions a day.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, more or less. And between 20 and 40, depends of the days. But Paula tells me that sometimes are 40. And how was the law? They can have an abortion until 12 weeks, and if the mother's health is in danger, but it can be psychological health too. So if you are a bit sad, it's like a big sleep, okay? Because the psychological health, you can put everything there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then until 24 weeks for if the baby has bad formations, and anytime if it's not compatible with life until 9 months, if has some problem which is not compatible with life. That's the law.
So they have to bring in Spanish doctors. Are there virtually no Portuguese doctors who will do abortions? Is it exclusively Spanish doctors or almost completely?
I don't know, but since the beginning of this facility, always Spanish doctors are coming to abort our babies. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. And so you've been doing this for like now over 10 years. And so halfway through, like after 5 years, did you feel like you did it the first time 1,000 people came, and then the next time it was harder to get the kind of momentum? So what's kept you motivated and inspired and going? And you've got young people involved, and then people come and go, and then you need God's grace and prayers, the foundation. But there's times where people get, think people move and things change. And so what's kept your fire going, and what's kept your, obviously prayer and a relationship with God is foundational. But there's also willpower and motivation. So has it been the mum's stories? It's been the emotional connection with seeing so many results. You've seen, you've seen probably hundreds of women change their mind over that 10 years, and you've seen a lot of people change their minds. So that has been, just tangibly see the results. It's got to be a big motivator as well.
Yes, but I think I already told you this. I decided to, a lot of times I wanted to give up, because people gave up. People came and gave up, because young people, they have their lives. And it's hard to be there and to see this, that women go into, and what they're going to do. And it's really, you have to say, come on, go, because you don't want to go. It's it doesn't feel like going. You don't feel like going. And a young girl wrote the testimony this last campaign. She's 22, and she wrote a very beautiful testimony saying that she was praying and thinking, why don't I come here more times? Because what am I doing in my life that it's more important to come here to pray and try to save one life? And I don't know, maybe I stay at home in my PC seeing a TV a show, and or I'm having a drink with my friends. Why don't I come here for 1 hour? And it was a very powerful testimony. People liked it a lot. And really, I didn't feel like coming a lot of times, but I don't know why. In the last minute, where I was saying, I was about to call and say, Robert, I'm not going to do this anymore. Someone came and said, Paula, I would like to help in the next campaign. And then I couldn't say to the person, no, we are going to do another campaign. It was like if God didn't let me giving up, like a little bit like this. And like one more kid, one more children. But then now I have a great team. I really am very happy with the team, and I think even though I would give up, someone would be there. That's the ideal situation. But I think, yes, if you think a little bit, you never give up of this. But sometimes, it could be what you are saying. Yes, if I think about the babies, the mother, the stories, of course, we think, let's keep going. But, it's a very, if you want to do this, as we did the first campaign, I would already have gave. If you do it very, very, very intensely, it's hard.
It's always hard.
But now we are doing this with a lot of faith, knowing that God does the rest. We do what we can, and God does the rest. And I think it's how we keep this going for all these years.
You bet. Tell us about the March for Life in Portugal. So that's been going quite a few years, and what's that been like in recent years? I know it was cancelled a couple of years when we tried to come, but what that event's been like? Yeah.
You've been 1 year, right?
No, it got cancelled when we came. So yeah.
Then came Lourdes and Ayala.
That's right. Yeah.
It's always in the now it is in the whole country, in a lot of cities. First, it was only on Lisbon. It's not like the States, okay? It's a March for Life, a Portuguese size, okay? It's like we can have like 4,000 people on the whole country, okay? But the news always say there are like 200, okay? And we have 4,000, and they never say the truth, that it's always a little bit the same people, and the pro-life people. but it's organized by the Portuguese Federation for Life, which is the only pro-life and politic institution, like not politic, it's not politic, but they really are worried about the laws, and they are always worried of euthanasia and abort, everything in the law part, okay?
Yeah.
And the act, that the public act they do is organizing March for Life.
Yeah, but it's great. And also, I mean, how do you manage? You've got 7 children, you've got a job, and then you're doing 40 days, and then the foundation and the charity. Like, how do you manage it? You must be sort of multitasking on steroids.
No, not at all.
So how do you manage it? It's like just
I think
you're
I
busy.
don't know if
you ask a busy person to do something, they get something done. Like, wow, it's really talented.
The fact of having a lot of children gives me more energy, because really I'm really sure of that. I am an energetic person, but I have my energy is bigger since I am a mother of a large family, and I think it prepares us for life. Having so many children, and you have to do a lot of things, and then to run a campaign, it's not that hard when you are with 7 kids every day, but. I really, it's not that I can do that. It's not, I think I told you that my husband and I work professionally in our, you say charity, in our NGO. So we decided that when we were dating, we decided that we wanted to because we met each other in Fatima in a deep deficient center, I don't know how you say.
A pilgrimage center or a hostel or a hotel,
For people with disabilities, great disabilities.
Right, okay, yeah.
And we were doing volunteer work. We met there, and he already did volunteer work in Seville and me in Lisbon. And we, after 4 years dating, we said that we were going to do that for a job, because if we wanted to have a large family and a job for keeping the family, we couldn't do help people really if we didn't do this professionally. So we decided my work is really what you saw, not the house, because I'm not in the house, but my job is that I'm a lawyer, because I have to earn more money for my family, but my professional job is really there in the charity center. So it's easier for me. I don't have a boss that's that doesn't let me to organize a campaign or something. It's doing that.
It's amazing. Tell us a little bit about the Christian history of Portugal, and we've got Fatima. Portugal's been a Catholic country for time immemorial, and
yes, for time immemorial. Yes, so, but now we are like every other country, So Portugal, Portuguese government is not different from the others, and they are not creative. They just copy what they have their agenda, and anti-family and anti-life agenda.
Yeah,
and they keep implementing this in the schools since the kids are little. That they are ready with their agenda. So the public schools are really. We have always to be taking care of our children and going to school and talking to the teachers and seeing what are they studying and what films do they see in the class, and they talk to them about everything in maths class. Okay, in maths class to my 10-year-old girl, they told her what was a binary person. I didn't know. She came home and told me about that. So this is the agenda. It's not Portugal. It's not creative about this. It's like but we also are a Catholic country, so we have both sides. Okay,
yeah. So there is still a strong Catholic remnant in the country. Like, how secular is Portugal right now? Like, is the sort of LGBT agenda being pushed by the government? And then,
yes, totally.
What about the situation in the church? Is the churches, are they empty, full of elderly people? Are young people coming through? We just had this huge event, World Youth Day, with 1.5 million people from lots of different countries.
Yes, the event helped a lot. I think I see lots of young groups in the church after the World Youth Day. It was very, very good. But and the problem is that the young people are in groups like neo-catechumenals, Schoenstatt, Opus Dei, Focolares, but not so much in parishes, you know.
Okay.
And of course, Portugal is Christianized as the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
It's not nothing new, but maybe everything a little bit lighter than Spain. Okay, Spain is more radical than us, but we can. Something happens in Spain, and after 3 years, it happens in Portugal. We are always.
What's the relationship with Spain like? Is it a rivalry or is it amiable?
Well, in my case, I married to a Spanish.
You're married one, so yeah, I married an Irish
yes,
girl as well.
It's really sometimes some Portuguese don't like a lot Spain, but in general, yes, they do. It's not. I think it's more than speaking like Spanish people don't like French, and you know everything.
Exactly.
More historical reasons.
Yeah. So you had recently a story where one of the mums whom you helped, and she chose life for her unborn child, and then that lady went to help somebody else who was in a similar circumstance to them, and that's happened twice. Twice happened in your campaigns.
It happened twice.
That's really cool, and that's amazing because you help somebody and then they pay it forward, you know, and it multiplies. So it's really beautiful.
Have one of the moms. It's in our house with the baby, and she was saved. Well, God saved her, but the person who talked to her was the baby was saved the last campaign, and then another man also presented to a 40 Days for Life, a person from 40 Days for Life, another pregnant woman that also chose life in this last campaign. It happens twice, once in this campaign and in another campaign it happened also. It was really amazing. I loved that story, really.
It's incredible. And we had a testimony from a lady called Alina in the United Kingdom, and she chose life, and then she became the spokesperson, and her story was shared on the national press across the whole country. So this one lady, you know, we'd lost the buffer zone debate, but we did get these testimonies out of people who had chose life, and we managed to get them, you know, on the secular media in a clear, convincing way, which was really, really encouraging. So, and to have like adoration happening right next to the abortion center as well, like that's really beautiful. What's unique about what you're doing in your country and that will benefit the pro-life movement in other countries as well? Because for some people, even having a house for mums, like, that's inconceivable. Some people are starting out, they're right in the beginning, and just simply going to pray in public is completely revolutionary to them. So what you're doing is actually quite advanced and quite dynamic in comparison to other countries in Africa and Asia and Europe. Some places don't have houses for mums. They don't have a chapel and a full-time apostolate, multiple charities working for the pro-life movement. So you know, what would you say to somebody starting out, you know, because you've had an incredible journey over 10 years, the ups, the downs, the zeal right at the beginning with 1,000 people, and then keeping the momentum going. And
but we are already starting too, because we are from 212, but we are only in Lisbon. Like Spain started in 216, and they are already in all countries, because Spain is always more advanced
bigger.
We are. They have another temper, and we are now talking in our team of maybe someone else is going to be with Lisbon, and maybe I'm going to start in other cities, because it's not easy to start. It's nothing easy at all, and we have a privileged situation because we have a facility. You saw it. It's not a hospital. When the other cities, they say, "Oh, how do we do it? How can we do it in front of a hospital? Because you don't know if she's going to have an abortion or she's going to have her leg or her arm, and how can we do that?" And but I think it's really I don't know if it is unique or not, because I don't know how other countries are doing that. But what I think we do good is that we keep the mom's number, okay? And we, not everyone, not all moms give us their numbers, but when I say yes, it's not me. I go very, very little there. It's all the team, the people that are going there every day. But they give their numbers, and we keep talking to them and finding jobs. We have a group, a WhatsApp group, that when I say this mom needs a job for having her baby, in the same day I receive 3, 4, 5 calls offering job, and sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't work. But at least they offer, okay, and I think that relation that we build with the mom, because we don't want them to think, as a doctor told one of our moms of last campaign. I don't know if I wrote you. She went to the doctor, and the public doctor, and he said to her, "Oh, come on, get an abortion. You're going to complicate so much your life, and these people are offering you help, but the help is going to finish, and the baby is for the rest of her life." And she kept the baby. We are helping her with the work, but the job, it's not easy. This girl, that finding a job for her, but we don't want them to think that they are saying, have your baby, and then we leave them and don't care about them anymore, So I think everybody, even though if you don't have a house or a chapel or a house for mom, you can have the number of the person, or give her your card, and say, if you need something, call me, and then that's how we know that women are having the babies, because we call them, and we follow their. I don't know if it is unique. If only I imagine a lot of people do this, but I think that's what when we talk and we think, yes, we must go on with this support group for the moms. I think that's very important.
Definitely. So sorry, you're going to say, yeah. No,
they can't see just we are praying, but it's the most important. But we also have to pray and give them our hands in the things they need. I know. I'm sure God wants that too.
Yeah, and so the scope in the rest of the country, there just hasn't been the interest or the traction so far. That's been your experience.
No, because we talked with people with from Porto, with the other big city above Portugal, and everyone is not. I know here it's very difficult because we don't have a facility. We have a hospital. How are we going to pray in front of the hospital? And so I think, but as we are very focused in Lisbon. We aren't all. I think maybe one of us has to leave Lisbon and not leave Lisbon, but the focus for the rest of the country. And I think that.
So some of the inspiring things that have happened in other countries like the United States is some of the abortion workers have left, and then they've done a road show around the country, traveling to all the different cities. The headquarters is now in a former abortion center. There was Abby Johnson's story that inspired you, which was turned into a film. And then now there's been apologetics, training people in apologetics, sidewalk counselling, pavement counselling as well. You've actually done a lot of these projects already. And I was talking to our leader in Nottingham a couple of days ago, and he'd actually, inadvertently done a lot of these projects too, of supplementary projects that you can do in addition to, there's the year-round witness. Once you've done 40 days, is having a year-round witness, which I think the Hands Up Association you mentioned also there on a year-round basis. So there's many ways that we can expand what we're doing, and also, but I think what you've said about helping the mums is really beautiful. It's like we're not just there for a temporary time, it's following up, having a full-time relationship with the mothers, and then even being able to refer them on to the Mother Teresa nuns, the bigger cases, you can refer them on to somebody else. And that we're a go-between, we're going to a place where there is no hope, and we're offering hope and we're offering help. And some people have an abortion regardless, and you can still show love to them. Some people choose life, and it's a beautiful witness and testimony what you're doing. And what gives you a sense of hope with the pro-life apostolate? You've mentioned the stories of the mums and going to the circus and that being a huge sense of joy. What gives you hope with the pro-life? Is it the relationship with the mums? Is it the team that you have? What keeps your sort of belly fired up?
The team helps a lot because you are not alone, and not alone in Portugal, because I always felt your support of the international support, but in Portugal, not being alone. Then the volunteers, a lot of volunteers that came to pray, and even found their vocation in the campaign, their spiritual vocation, for priest or nun or something. I think we have two priests, two boys that I don't know if I can't maybe say they found their vocation, but I was going to talk with one of them to tell me the story so I could tell you. So when I'm sure, I tell you. But I know that there's people that found their spiritual way praying in 40 days for life, and that inspires me a lot and gives me a lot of being that knowing that praying there also, and mainly there's a lot of good people who pray, who are going to pray, okay, and then children that go and pray, and they are very. We had one girl I sent you. She's 9 years old, and we gave her a T-shirt and a winning prize because she talked with the moms, and she saved a life. She was very happy because she thought she saved a life because of her dog, and but unfortunately that life was the mother that after lost her baby spontaneously, but already she talked to them, and the stories of the mothers. When I see some of these babies, it really keeps me. I in the circus I was with Enzo, with he's 10 years old now, and I always go with her mom to the court with the problems and everything, and his mom, he's a boy, and when I see him, it really emotionates me because I see, wow, it's worth it. It's worth it.
So you've got a 10-year-old, a 10-year-old baby, and that was a woman who changed her mind 10 years ago.
Yes,
that's absolutely incredible. So some of the children saved in America are teenagers now, and I mean the organization's only 15 years old, so it's and often we don't see this actual spiritual fruits of prayer. Like many people don't actually see any results at all, and they go and trust and faith. So you've actually really graced to have a very direct impact. You can bless St. Thomas, blessed are those who do not see and yet believe. And I've seen many of the safe babies. I've met them, and I've seen the tangible spiritual fruits. I don't need to be, I don't need to trust in God that what I'm doing is the right thing. And, standing in the cold and nothing's happening, or you're outside the hospital and you don't have that kind of direct contact. So
I think we are very lucky, very spoiled people with all these fruits. I know perfectly what you say, even though we didn't see anything. It would be worth it also. But if we have this grace, we have to thank and be happy for that.
And you mentioned vocations as well. Some people find their vocation to priesthood or to religious life. or to marriage through some of the vigils as well. So it can help, the social aspect and a good team. And I know Marcus is there in Portugal now, and so
Yes.
we always have lots of beautiful young men and women who are part of the vigil, which is part of the attraction of coming to come and stand and pray. So it's beautiful when you help somebody in their vocation come towards find Christ in their real calling as well. So what message do you have for like other pro-life, other 40 Days for Life leaders in other European countries? What message would you send to other leaders and other pro-life activists?
Don't give up.
Yeah.
and find help if you feel very tired. These are very how you say, when you don't have the strength, just ask for help. And I don't know what else to say.
It's great. That's really powerful. And it's like often you feel I can't carry on.
Yes.
The struggle, the spiritual struggle. It's a spiritual struggle between life and death.
Yes.
There's discouragement. The devil sends distraction, discouragement, deflection, anything to put you off the path, just get you into something else. Or and so what you're saying is really important. It's like it's prayer, it's perseverance, it's a foundation of just boldness and humility and sacrifice. And that's not easy. It's very easy to say, oh, there's no support or everything's going wrong. And that's the temptation, like who would be happy giving up? It would be the devil who'd be happy in giving up. So that's so important what you're saying. It's and just the mums you've met, if you never started this, none of these stories may have ever come to reality. And if there's a busy abortion center and there's nobody outside, all it takes for evil to flourish is for good people to do nothing. So that is the essence of our ministry, to go to the places where there are no hope and to place love and to place hope into them. And that's exactly what you've done. And that's why this has come to full fruition as well. So I think we're at the cusp of a really exciting time internationally, that we're going to see a lot of growth. And even some of the things we've done are simply foundational to the next level, the next stage. So hearing how you started a charity, there's other people involved, there's a team, there's multiple layers. And I think in every country there's a huge prospect to grow exponentially. There's a huge chance to learn from other countries and to share those experiences. And that's been what's beautiful about our international conferences as well, of we've shared what's happening in other places, and then our story can inspire other people. And before you know it, you've got a situation in another country which has grown out of nothing. We've just been contacted by Jamaica. We've never had a Caribbean campaign before. And so suddenly, and this week we had Kazakhstan. We've never had a campaign in Central Asia. And I'm like looking up what language they speak there. And so suddenly, there's a God of surprises. And it feels a lot like this work is like, it's like having a lake of ice, and you've got a pickaxe and you keep hitting the ice, nothing's happening, and then suddenly you have this massive breakthrough. And the United States, they've had this massive breakthrough, the end of Roe versus Wade. And Europe, we feel we live in a very secular environment. The government's talking about criminalizing prayer where I live in England, where you can't even express yourself in public outside the abortion centers. So this is the reality. I'm living in a place where open persecution is happening. 4 leaders have been charged. And this craziness and nonsense, it's all from the devil to distract us and to send us packing. But if we keep praying, we keep persevering, we're calm, we're humble, we're patient, we do God's will in everything. That's the most important thing. We don't go off on a tangent and go crazy, or we don't go off and join some extreme. But we're pro-life for normal people praying in the street, and most crazies don't come to pray very often or on a regular basis. So many of the people we have are very grounded. They're very based in prayer. They're really humble. And they're the little people who really want to do God's will. And if we're able to do God's will in everything that we do, then so many doors can open up to us. So it's been I remember visiting you in 2016, and wow, that was really, really amazing. It was really inspiring. Then we came a couple of years ago, and then others have come, and then, you know, like there's so much more we can do to build a whole movement, in each country. So there's so many different angles to that: volunteers, leaders, helping out to the mums as well. I'm full of hope with what can happen. And even in secular Europe, it's like, you look what's happened in the United States. They've, you know, so many states are abortion free now, and that's even though some states are more extreme in their laws, that at some point, you know, we're going to have a wake up call in Europe, and there'll be I believe, you know, there'll be openings in different countries, and what you've done in Portugal has been a shining light, has been a big inspiration for people in other countries. So I'm really inspired that Spain has taken off so well. Now we have many different cities involved, and gradually we're filling in the countries in Europe. You know, the places where we haven't had vigils, we're deliberately going to those places like Poland, Italy, Holland, hopefully France as well. If we can do what you're doing in Portugal, you can do it in any of those countries. So so how many years have you been married now as well?
Married?
Yeah, how many years have you been married?
28.
28 years. Wow. So you're coming up. So you had your 25th wedding anniversary, and the next one is that there's silver, and then there's gold, and then wow.
In COVID, when the year of the COVID, 2020,
wow.
25 anniversary.
Did you manage to keep the vigils going during COVID, or what happened during that time? Were you allowed on the street? Yeah, with the 40 days, were you praying in the chapel or at home, or what was going on? It was the Zoom.
Yes. At first, yes, and it was even better because women could go into the facility because they went with their mask outside, and so they were in a queue, so we could talk to them more easily because they were waiting outside the door of the facility. And that part was good. But then when everyone had to be at home and closed, and we couldn't go, I even talked to you, and we did online campaign. I mean, people prayed online. But in the first, before they locked us down, it was very good because the facility didn't close. They kept on doing abortions with the mask, and one woman of the time.
So when the lockdown happened, did the abortion clinic close as well, or did it stay open? Oh, it stayed open. Wow, yeah, it's crazy. Well, that
like
was
a hospital or something.
Yeah, it was a crazy time, but I mean, thankfully that's all over now. And tell us one thing about Portugal, your culture and national identity as well. You mentioned that Portugal's just like other European countries. It's as secular as other places. The same challenges that you're having in Portugal, we're seeing in Spain, in the United Kingdom, in Italy as well. But what gives you hope? I mean, you mentioned the movements in the church. That's where people are Opus Dei, the Neo-Catechumenate. That's where people are kind of getting faith formation and carrying on the faith.
Yes, a lot of young are also in the traditional masses, and this movement of a lot of young people go to that part too. And but in parishes, I think parishes need more young people. The parishes. What you told me about the hope, I gave Jesus gives me hope. So I think we live in the better time we could live because it's ours. It's the time God gave us.
Yeah.
And so we don't. I don't like being complaining. Everything is bad, and because this was the time I was born, and God wants me to live in this time and to fight the good fight in this time. And that's what gives me hope. I think all times had their good and bad parts, and this is ours, yours and mine.
That's absolutely right. You know, it's like for such a time as this, you know, no matter how evil things are or how bad life gets, it's like God chose us to live in this time, and this is where we accomplish His will. This is where we meet reality, and where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more. And as we wrap up now, just I'm so inspired by what you're doing in Portugal, Paula. It's absolutely incredible. It's God's work. It's frontline ministry, and that you have over a decade of experience. You have 10-year-old turnarounds. You have all these women who are a witness of your grace and your love. And you've had an incredible impact on your country. And the witness that you've given in Portugal is an inspiration to people in lots of other European countries as we grow internationally. And so go to our website, 40daysforlifeinternational.com. Consider making a gift. We have interviews with all the other leaders coming up. We just get better with our content, with our material. We're getting stronger. We're having more of an impact internationally. And I'm in awe of what God has done in so many different places. And thank you so much for being on our podcast today, Paula. It's been a real privilege to hear your stories and keep up the amazing work. I mean, you are a superwoman, a mum of 7, full-time job, charity, 10 years doing 40 days. So if we can clone you and put you in different countries, that's how we can grow leadership. And thank you for sharing your story. Look forward to seeing you at the next international conference. I hope you have an amazing Christmas and Advent in the meantime. Enjoy love and send my love to all your family, your children, your volunteers, your leaders. May God bless you, Paula, and God bless everyone in Portugal. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening. It's been a privilege to share your message with other people from around the world today. May God bless you. May God bless you. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
No te pierdas los podcasts de 40 días por la vida internacional con entrevistas, reportajes y testimonios de todo el mundo.
Don't miss our podcasts with interviews, news, and reports from around the world.